All right, Drill Sarney here, back for another episode of Drill Sarney's Time. Okay, today this one's going to cover white phase. This is my favorite phase. It's where we really start getting into the meat and potatoes of your weapon. So I'm going to read straight out of TradeOut 350-6 what white phase is, and then I'm going to give you my experiences. Okay, white phase is generally weeks 5 through 7 of IET, and is centered on the development of basic combat skills with special emphasis on weapons qualification, and PRT. At the end of this phase, each trainee/soldier complies with the Army values. Tell me what they are. I'll put them on the screen for you. Okay. And they comply with dignity and respect. Trainee soldier also demonstrates an understanding of task proficiency through strengthening of tasks and concepts along shoot, move, communicate, survive, physical fitness, life skills, acculturated in the Army lifestyle and discipline, adheres to ethical requirements of Army profession, and safely handles and qualifies with their individual weapon on both backup iron sights, optics for just basic training. But optics are in white phase as well. You'll do backup iron sights first. You'll do optics at the end. There's phases. You go RM1 through 18. RM6 is your iron sights, and then after 6, you start your optics portion of all of that. Your CCO, your red dot. You will also perform basic field craft and combat survival. Some places like Fort Jackson and Fort Leonard Wood will do a FTX in white phase, since they just do BCT, basic combat training. They don't do the AIT portion straight through. If you're doing just straight OSIT at Fort Benning, we wouldn't do an FTX in white phase. All white phase was for for shooting. All it was used for was shooting. The entire phase, grenades at some point, and then that's usually after we do qualification and rifle or grenades or rifle qual. That's it. M4 qual. That's it. You don't do any other weapon systems, at least at Fort Benning. That was it. And it was the best phase because every single day from Monday through Saturday for 4 weeks, you spent at the range shooting every way you can, right? You'll start from the ground up, go into the computer systems, shooting on the computers, the little EST computer rifles, right? And then you'll work up to, you'll get into the mock range where you walk through pretending you're at the range, but you're not really at the range, getting all the mannerisms of a range. And then you'll go into your actual, it's called KD, but it's not a KD range. It's the LOMA. It's the known distance range. And you'll shoot at a target, and it'll give you feedback on a little computer, and it'll help you fine-tune your zero after you've already grouped and zeroed your weapons. After LOMA, you go into singles and multiples, basically practicing transitioning between multiple targets, which is pretty easy. It's just more chance to get practice on the qual, essentially. And then you'll do a practice qual. And you'll get probably 2 or 3 of those, depending on how much ammo y'all get. And then after that, you'll go right into your qual. So let me pop it over and see if I can't get this video to play.
White phase. Learning the basic skills of a soldier. During this phase, trainees will begin learning the basics of rifle marksmanship, maintenance, and engaging targets at varying distances. During this phase, trainees also learn hand-to-hand training and how to prioritize multiple targets simultaneously. In addition to marksmanship training, trainees also continue their physical fitness training and will be expected to navigate obstacle courses. White phase will also be trainees' first introduction to warrior tasks and battle drills.
You're going to get the TV, helmet, you're going to have your camelback, your iPro. That's exactly how you throw the grenade. Some of these kids are better than others. This is all practicing for buddy team fight. Right here, this part here is gearing up for buddy team fight. So white phase is literally it's my favorite because I get to really dive in to rifle marksmanship, which is my job as an infantryman, is understanding how my weapon system works, right? And this is where it essentially helps me too because I get to refresh my memory, but I get to teach privates how to navigate their weapon system effectively. And we had a pretty good average throughout the company every time we'd go to the range. So it ended up being I think the training was pretty good. But basically all white phase is every morning you're getting up for PT. You're doing PT from 06:30 till 07:30. You're showering, getting quick breakfast at the DFAC, unless for whatever reason you can't eat at the DFAC that day. That happens sometimes. And then you're getting on a bus. Trans usually leaves around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Get you out to the range. And then you basically go right into shooting. Okay, there's going to be a drill sergeant running ammo. And then all the drill sergeants are going to give you... One of the NCOIC is going to give you your range brief, which is going to say, hey, these are your left and right limits. Okay, your porta potty's back there. Ammo's over there. This is what you do at the range. Then you're going to go pick up ammo and you're going to start shooting. And as a trainee, all you're focused on is shooting and doing a good job and listening to the drill sergeants, because the drill sergeants are the ones that are essentially telling you how to do it, because hopefully they know what they're doing. I'm not saying they are bad, but some drill sergeants might not know. So listen to the guy that's instructing the company, right? I mean, listen to all of them, but listen to the guy that's doing the instruction. Everyone's got their way, and if it works for you, then it works for you, right? And if you already know how to shoot, take what they say for a grain of salt, put what you know aside, and listen to what they're saying, because you're not going to shoot well if you already know how to shoot, right? I promise you. It's weird. I don't know why, but some of these kids that say they know how to shoot, they come in knowing how to handle a weapon, but they shoot like crap. I'm like, all right, try it my way now. See what happens. They do, and they're like, oh God, I shot a 38. Oh, no crap, right? Like, we know what we're talking about. But so the new qual, some of you have been in for a while, may not know what the new qual looks like, but the old school qual, right? You would do 3 positions, okay? Prone, unsupported, prone, supported, and then kneeling, right? Those days are gone. Those days are long gone. Now you shoot 1 round standing, unsupported, and then you drop down to prone, unsupported, and you shoot 9 more rounds, okay? And they don't tell you when to do a mag change. It's all one continuous qualification. You shoot your 9 rounds, you change your mag out. You go to prone, supported with the sandbag. So you should have already built your house at this point, right? You get on the sandbag, you shoot 10 more rounds. There's a lull, a little lull, so you kind of know when to do your mag change and change positions. But when that lull hits, you do your mag change, you move up to kneeling, supported with the barricade, right? And then you shoot your 10 rounds, mag change to standing, supported with barricade. And then that's it. It's still 10 rounds per magazine, per position. You get 40 rounds, right? It's harder than the old qual. If you're used to the old qual, it takes a little while to get used to it. But once you figure it out, it's pretty simple, right? As long as your group and zero is good and you know how to apply your holds, which is what we will teach you in basic training, where you hold on the silhouette based off the range, then you're gonna do well. There's a competition, which platoon scores the highest rifle marksmanship average on RM18 usually gets a banner, and typically that comes with like a longer phone call, some kind of reward for doing well. So it's good to do well, and it makes the drill sergeant that's instructing look good, and the platoon's drill sergeants that win also look good, right? So with that being said, that's pretty much white phase, honestly. And then you go into your grenades, and grenades it's one day. It's one day. You go out there, you get instruction from the cadre. They teach you how to throw, and the kids that maybe grew up with not the influence of someone teaching them how to throw, you know who you are. They teach you how to throw, and once you're done, you go do live. I think you get 2 grenades, and you throw them both, boom, boom, and it's over. And then you're done. That's pretty much the culminating event of white phase. At some point you get grenades in there, and you do RM18. Like white phase, they're not necessarily long days, but they're tedious. You do the same thing over and over and over, but you really hone in on your craft as far as shooting goes, and it's really a good time. It's really just a fun time. Drill sergeants love it because we get to shoot too. You know, whenever you guys are done, we'll go out and shoot a few targets ourselves just to make sure we aren't losing our touch as well. So you do night shoots as well. There'll be a couple nights that you'll have to do night qual, and you'll have to do a gas mask qualification as well, like with your mask on. I'm not really going to dive into all that, but it's not hard. It's not hard at all. That's why you have your little lasers, your PEC 15 lasers. So your weapon's going to have your CCO, PEC 15 laser, and you're going to qual on all of those. You're going to group and zero all of those as well. But you have to earn it, right? You have to qual iron sights before you can go on to CCO. If you don't qualify iron sights, guess what? There's a chance you might get recycled because you can't do RM18, right? RM18 is the CCO. Can't do CCO unless you do iron sight qual. Qualification is 23 out of 40. 23 targets out of 40. And I say that, but some of you that are listening to this are probably still going to not get that at some point for multiple reasons. One, maybe you just didn't group and zero your weapon. Well, you know what I mean? Maybe it's off. Maybe you went to a range that just sucks. That happens. It happens a lot. Sometimes these ranges need reset by the range cadre, or the targets are all shot out, so they got to come out and change targets. It happens, right? That's just life itself. It gives you a chance to still shoot, don't pull the trigger. They'll fix the targets, and then you'll do your qual, and on qual day you'll have good targets, right? Or you just didn't pay attention to the drill sergeant's instruction, and you don't know how to do sight alignment, sight picture, which is a huge part of shooting. So take what I've said with a grain of salt. Listen to what your drill sergeants say when they try to teach you this stuff. Remember, sight alignment before sight picture. Okay? Trigger squeeze. When you squeeze the trigger, don't slam that trigger back. Think about an egg in your hand. And when you pull the trigger, you're breaking the egg with all of your stuff at the same time. You're not jerking it. You're just slow, pop, and then hold, release. I can go to a whole class on RM instruction because, like I said, I taught the RM at my company. But we won't do that. That'll be another day. This is just white phase portions, okay? And at some point during white phase, you're going to take a PT test. Whether that's the ACFT or the APFT coming back, who knows? Prepare for the ACFT because that's what they're still doing. But at some point, you'll take a 4 record one during white phase. And that's going to be, if you fail it, that's not good. That's not good because they can kick you out for it now. Because now that it's a 4 record, it's a 4 record test, they have that power to boot you for not passing the physical aspect of basic training. Before, there was no 4 record, and now as of October of last year, it's 4 records, so they can get you. So make sure, that's why I've been harping on everybody, be in shape when you get there, right? But yeah, white phase is easy. That's really all there is to it. I can't stress enough to not stress during white phase because you'll get shooter fatigue. Okay? Just don't stress it. You'll figure it out. If your zero's off, say drill sergeant, my zero's off, and they'll fix you. They'll check your weapon. I would just grab their weapon and I'd go shoot a few rounds. If I'm hitting your targets, it's just you. That means you're just not lining the sights up. You're not applying the correct hold. Maybe you're slapping that trigger real hard. Something is messing you up, not your weapon. You know what I mean? But the drill sergeants know what they're talking about, and they'll get you through it. White phase is all about shooting, and white phase is all about getting in shape. White phase is where you really start to, your body starts to change, you really start to get in shape, and you start to feel good, right? You start noticing you're losing weight. Maybe you're down about 10 pounds, 15 pounds at this point. It's awesome. But on that note, we're going to cut it here. Next one is going to be the blue phase, right? Make sure, if you like the content, you give me a thumbs up. You smack the follow button, subscribe button. Check out all my other socials as well. And we also on Spotify, all right? Check it out. Let me know what you think.